look at that. Oh, it's gone. Can you see it? No. Good morning. What an incredible morning. The sky is completely blue. There is nothing, not a cloud in it. Look at that. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm sorry about the brown paper bag that keeps appearing. I've got a little sunshade on you. You're wearing a very beautiful paper bag hat at the moment to try and keep the sun off you so that you can see me, because otherwise it's like this. So yeah, there's your little, you look very fetching, by the way. Yeah, so we're up here for a full day today. We brought some lunch with us, which is incredibly exciting because it's been quite a long time since we've been up here and just been like, right, let's get this and this done. Exciting. And my first job is going to be prune the gooseberries. I'm going to do that first because it is the job I am least looking forward to doing. So I'm going to attack the gooseberries and then I'm going to attack the buddleia. And just since we got up here, so we've just been kind of reveling in the sunshine and having a bit of a chat about plans. So not arches and that kind of stuff, but things on this side of the allotment, particularly to do with the polytunnel. And I think I've come to the conclusion that I don't need a bigger polytunnel. That's not entirely true. I would happily have a second polytunnel, but I don't think the work involved in enlarging the one we've already got is worth it. Because all the internal beds and everything are made and they all fit and it's fine, and I've just got to pull them out, mesh the bottom, put them back in and have it as is. The decision comes in whether or not we make another one, but I'm not going to enlarge the one we've got. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to go and prune the blooming finger shredders. Okay, so these really are a bit of a mess. But the first thing I need to do, because I'm training them, or not training them, but growing them up against the wall, is to remove any of the branches which are just firing straight forward. Because it doesn't matter if some of them might fruit in the future, they're just in the wrong place, so I need to take them out. And once I've taken the branches out, which I really can't do anything with, I'm also going to take some height off them because they've got very, very tall this year. And as I've been tying them in against the fence, they're just kind of getting taller and taller and taller. So I'm going to take them down by about a third. And then I'll start tackling the branches that are actually where the fruit's going to come next year. We've had some dodgy years with fruit for these gooseberries. We've got 2 that fruit brilliantly and 2 that sort of, you get about 5 fruit on them. So I'm going to try and encourage a bit more fruiting this year. They really are absolutely ferocious. The size of these blooming thorns on them. This is not my favourite job, chaps. Not my favourite job. I do love gooseberries, so, you know, stop whinging, Jessie, and just get on with it. The key is it's not even your fingers that get got by the thorns. It's when you chop them and leave them on the ground and then you go and kneel on one. Oh, the pain, the terrible pain. So as I'm pruning them, I'm just chucking them into a pile to try and keep them away from my poor knees. Because last year, wah. So it is all a bit of a jumbled mess, but the fruit is going to come from 2 places. Firstly, the wood that has grown this previous year at the base of those shoots, it'll produce little flowers and fruit. But also, which is what makes gooseberries quite handy for this kind of training against a flat surface, or fan training, or whatever you want to call it, is that it will also produce fruit on the little tiny spurs that form on the old wood. So you can get a really good structure in place and it will fruit on the old wood, as opposed to some things where it will only fruit on the previous year's wood, in which case you're constantly having to take out your structure of your plants. Gooseberries are quite good like that. They are also extremely forgiving of just being hacked back, which is also an advantage. You don't have to be too careful with it. Just keep them to the size and shape that you want your gooseberry bush to be, really. The reason that I've got these trained up against this, so like a 2D gooseberry hedge, is mainly because of the thorns, because picking the gooseberries is just misery when you've got to reach inside a really dense shrub and you can't ever get your hand back out again. It's like putting your hand in a bear trap. So yeah, just doing them against this surface. Firstly, they're inside the fruit cage because the badgers go wild for them. But secondly, just makes picking a bit easier. So I've done a mixture of 2 different pruning techniques there that I've been advised on, both of them, and they're almost like direct opposites. One of them is regarding the old wood, and one of them is regarding leaving last year's wood and these little spurs. So I've done a mixture of the 2 of them, and now I'm going to label which branch is which, just like an example branch, and then see which one fruits better, or if one fruits and one doesn't, because I've asked the advice and I've been given these 2 completely differing bits of advice. So I'm going to write down what I've done, label them, and we will see come gooseberry season. Yeah, what am I saying? Basically, I don't know. I've pruned the gooseberries repeatedly, and what I tend to do is just chop them back, but I've been pruning them like I would a goblet shape gooseberry bush, which is all I've ever had before, rather than a fan trained one. And it'd be interesting to see which is more successful. Labels. My God, that sun is so hot. Why am I still wearing this hat? No idea. No idea. Right, string, scissors. Let's get this sorted. And then next up is the buddleia. I'm just going to, there's no fanciness with that whatsoever. I'm just going to chop it straight down to the ground. Well, to like 6 inches above the ground, where I chop it down to every year. We've just got it in quite a nice rhythm, actually, because you know what buddleia are like. They are bounce back specialists. So just take it down, and then it springs up for the summer, and then we just take it back down. And it means that it's kind of every year it gets to the same height, rather than becoming incredibly large and domineering. So that's what's next to my thing. And then I think I'm going to tackle the polytunnel, because there is a lot of stuff that needs to be dug out. Actually, am I going to do that, or am I going to dismantle the arches? Oh, do you know what? I don't know. I might even have a cup of tea. Let me go and label these. That branch there is going to be the easiest one to see. And I think this one, probably, because that's a new wood one. And if I do it quite close to the top, we should still be able to see it.
You'll be able to see what they're doing?
Yeah. Because by the time we get round to fruiting time, they're both going to look the same. So, okie dokie. Right, I'm going to go and get that buddleia. So I know I'm risking comments about buddleias being just complete weeds here, and I know a lot of people hate buddleia. And this is the bog standard, like, pale-ish purple one. But they're not called butterfly bushes for no reason. This summer was just covered in the most beautiful butterflies, which I think is reason enough to grow it. But also, because it grows up so quick every year, it provides us with a little bit of kind of privacy along this wall, because this is the communal path that leads straight down to the other allotments. But thirdly, because we're essentially coppicing this, just taking it straight down every year, each spring it fires up these really fantastic, long, straight, quite flexible branches, which now I chop down, clean up, dry off, and use them as support canes next year. Perfect. after that exceptional lunch that was pure joy in the sunshine, I launched into a huge explanation of quite a lot of stuff that I'm going to do, changes around the flower beds this year. However, you may be able to see on the microphone there is no blue light showing, hence this little snippet of voiceover. Because I went into quite a lot of detail. You can see here I'm explaining a lot of stuff about how I'm going to extend this flower bed backwards, and yeah, basically there's no sound, chaps. So that was a bit of a shame, so I'll have to talk to you about that next week. But rest assured, big plans on the flower front. But while we're on the subject of flowers, Tony has confirmed Friday the 2nd of February we will be doing the Potty Mouth Flower Special, and there's going to be 6 of us, so it's going to be a bit of a crowded house, but we are all feeling very excited about flowers this year, so if you are too, come and join in and we'll have a good old flower natter on Friday. Oh, well, that was joyous, except that we took too long eating our lunch and now we've lost the sun on the plot and it's blooming freezing. Like 1 minute you're just baking in the sunshine and having a marvellous time, and the next minute you're like, ooh. Anyway, so we're going to beat a hasty retreat, but what I am going to pick before we leave is, in this bed, I've got one incredibly successful Cavalier Nero, which is looking big and bold and absolutely magnificent, and I've got one very sad one, and the sad one has started to bolt, so I'm going to take it off. Let me just go and get the loppers. What did I do with them? Oh, there they are. Go on, let me in. Now this one, you see, sorry about all the struggling noises. I keep forgetting I've got the microphone on. So this one got an absolute magnificent beauty in there, that one. And when that starts to bolt, I will leave it because it will produce really nice, like Cavalier Nero broccoli sprouts, basically. But this one is not really strong enough to produce any nice sprouts, although you can see it's starting. But I'm just going to eat this as it is and munch it. It's not really big enough to pull off broccoli sprouts. Right, I'm going to put the girlies away and head home.
Right, girls, are you ready? What you doing up there? Come on inside. Come on. Come on. Come on. All you in, all in.
Oh, I've just remembered I've got to go and play with clay this afternoon, so I better hurry up. Hey girlies, I know, got things to do, madams. We have, yes, I know. We'll see you tomorrow. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Right. Bag of goodies. Hey Lily Maloo, beautiful girl. I know, beautiful girlie. I never got round to clearing that. Whoops. Tomorrow. Hey girls, tomorrow. Let's go. So you're currently filming your own face? Don't show that bit. Good morning. First port of call has been... no, that's not how it goes, is it? Not first port of call. Good morning. First objective achieved. We have got 2 bags of country natural horse manure in the back of the car. Fantastic. The next thing on the list today is to go over to Chapman's because the potatoes are in. So yeah, we're going to have to make some serious decisions this morning, chaps. So you may remember it was only a couple of weeks ago that we were at Squire's Garden Centre, which is a major big garden centre just down the road from here. And they had an incredible selection of potatoes. I was really impressed with the number of varieties that they had over there. However, we've been waiting for Chapman's to get their potatoes in, mainly because they sell them by the weight. So if you go to like a big garden centre, generally you have to buy them in kilo bags or even like 3 kilo bags, which means you have to kind of go all in on a particular variety, because for us, a kilo of potatoes is a whole bed. Ooh, potatoes. So the advantage of buying them by weight, for example, from here, means that we can get kind of 6 pots of one, or we can only have 2 pots of one variety, and we're not just inundated with potatoes. Generally, we get about 6 of each. If we're going to be growing them in pots, that's 2 pots, and then we will probably end up buying a kilo bag of Red Duke because we want a whole bed of Red Duke because they are the faves. But buying them by weight like this means that we can try 5 or 6 different varieties in a year rather than having to go with just the one. Okay. Now, I think it's there. Oh, here it is. Yeah. But if you write on that piece of paper, and then you can just put it on inside the bag. Okay. So what are you going for first? Home Guard.
They're first earlies.
They are. How many do we want?
How many do we use this?
6.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. success. So which ones, before we drive off, Mum, which ones did we go for? We got
We've got Nadine.
no, we didn't, that was one we didn't get.
Short-term memory problems.
Yeah, no, we've got Home Guard.
Yes.
Ker's Pink.
Yes.
Pink Fir Apple.
Now we've got a...
I tell you what, I'll tell you when we get home, because I'm going to have to look at the labels again. That was not successful, Mum. Okay, let's sort that out. The varieties that we got. Normally we get 2 first earlies, 2 second earlies, and 2 main crop, not including the Red Dukes. This year we seem to have got 3 first earlies, 1 second early, and 2 main crop. But, you know, never mind. So the first earlies that we've got are Arran Pilot, Swift, and Home Guard. So Arran Pilot and Swift are pretty classic potatoes. Home Guard we had last year, really liked it. Proper like white potato, absolutely delicious. So I'm pretty happy with those 3. The single second early one that we got is Kestrel, and the 2 main crop are Pink Fir Apple and Ker's Pink. Always grow Pink Fir Apple, although I've noticed over the years it seems to have become less knobbly. Like Pink Fir Apple used to be just incredible, like nutty little bits all over it and everything, but it's kind of becoming more like rat as it goes along. But you know, we're going to have another go at it, because that late in the season, just those beautiful waxy, they've almost got like a first earlies kind of feel to them, like a new potato feel to them. It's really nice to have that late in the year. And the other one we do is Ker's Pink. I love this potato. I think the first year we grew this was 3 years ago, and they've just got a really satisfying, well, firstly they're delicious, which is like the most important thing, but they've got a really nice like flattened shape about them. Obviously the seed potato is a bit difficult to tell. They're like oval flattened, and they've got like these really pale like rose pink patches on them. A beautiful potato. Now, the big thing, and I know this is going to cause a lot of issues in the comments, but I like to chit my potatoes. I know. So many people have done experiments to see whether chitting potatoes is worthwhile or not, and I will fully get behind there's absolutely no point chitting main crop potatoes, because they're in the ground for so long or in pots for so long, makes no difference whatsoever. There is some evidence that chitting potatoes for first earlies and possibly second earlies has some advantage, as like by maybe a couple of weeks. But really that's not why I chit my potatoes. I love the process of chitting the potatoes. They're not going to go in until March, like the beginning of March, and so I've got like 6 weeks of having them in the house. And I could just put them in the dark and just leave them alone, but like my whole life at this time of year there has been little egg boxes of potatoes sitting on window ledges with their little labels on them, waiting for their little eyes to start growing, and it's a tradition that I like to carry on. So comment away as much as you like about I'm wasting my time chitting my potatoes and all that kind of thing. Yes. I like chitting potatoes, so I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to chit my main crop ones as well, purely because I've got enough little boxes to put them in, and they're all going to go downstairs in the conservatory on the window ledge and be jolly. So normally, like I say, I normally have little egg boxes to put them in, because it's quite satisfying, because you can kind of sit them up in there. Don't have any egg boxes this year. I don't know what seems to have happened to them all. I've got these like little cardboard containers, so I'm going to stick them in there. And the key thing is to remember to keep the labels with them, because potatoes, I mean, barring Pink Fir Apple, they all look pretty similar. So the idea with chitting, whether you are a believer or not, is that what you're trying to do is encourage their little eyes where they grow from to kind of form a nice stout growing tip before you plant them out. It's a bit like the same process as, you know, when you leave them in your cupboard for too long and they get these really like long spindly like growth on them. it's like the opposite of that. So you don't want to keep them in the dark. You want to put them somewhere really light but warm because they don't like being frozen. And it's these little bits, you'll know, but these little bits here is where they'll grow from. There is actually a right way around for a potato, believe it or not, but I don't think we need to go into that kind of detail. Who's this one? Kestrel. Although we bought them in the plastic bags, keeping potatoes in a plastic bag is not a good idea because they will rot. So that's why I like them in the cardboard. Egg boxes particularly, because you can keep them separated from each other, they don't touch. Whereas in something like this, obviously they are touching, but you can just kind of stand them up. And when they're open like this, you can make sure they're not rotting or anything. So that's fine. I'm going to continue to put all the rest of my potato varieties in their little trays, and then we'll take them downstairs. And there we have 6 varieties of potatoes ready to start chitting. Lovely, look at this. We have still got tromboncinos. Oh dear, I just don't want to throw them away because it seems like such a waste, but at the same time, we don't want to eat them. So yeah, right. So we're going to grow them in pots. Those 6 varieties will all be in pots. We're going to grow Red Duke of York in the bed. When last year when we went there, there was a variety called Caledonian Pearl, which was actually our favourite of all the varieties we grew last year. And they didn't have it this year. But I did spot it at Squires at the garden centre where they're selling them by the kilo. I think it's going to be worth it. I won't grow a full kilo of them, but I've told a lot of people about what a great potato it was, so I'll probably just share them around. Right, let's go back upstairs. So yeah, potatoes are off. Very exciting. So much exciting happening at the moment. Can you see down here? Chilies, loads of the chilies are up. But that's actually something else that I did earlier this week. Just roll back the time. As so many of the early sowings were starting to pop up and things were all go, 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 it was time to get serious with the grow station. So I'm using tin foil to increase the effectiveness of my grow lights. There is information out there to say that if you use tin foil, the fact that it can kind of crinkle can cause hot spots and burn your plants, essentially, a bit like, you know, an ant under a magnifying glass situation. However, I think you would have to be using some very, very serious lights for that to happen, and mine are not. I don't think mine could burn. But if you're worried about it, you can always stick the tin foil onto cardboard to keep it flat and then use that as your sides. But I find it makes a huge, huge difference to the effectiveness of the lights. And it also means that the light is coming from all the way around the plant rather than just from above. They're getting just that little bit more all the way around them. And this is just kitchen foil, you know, bog standard stuff to use. In fact, I would say it's bog standard, it's not. It's turkey foil, which is the extra large one, which means that it fits around these shelves perfectly. But other than that, it's totally normal kitchen foil. And you can see when I turn these lights on, like the difference that it makes. Ding! It's proper bright in there now. Yeah, so we've got our little metallic grow station there. Now we've got an update on the shot glass method of trying to hold the heat and moisture in the cells. Have a little look down here. So these were the ones that came up almost immediately, and then I covered these chaps up. The pineapple ahi, the oldest seed I have very little hope for that, I have to say, but I'm keeping it covered up. But look, we've got action. This one came up, This one made an appearance. We've got one here and one here, which means that I do have 2 lemon drop and 2 orange habanero. So I am a happy runny babbit. And you can see, look, we're just starting to get the first true leaves on there. Can you see that? Just in the centre there. Wow. Also exciting, we have 3 Socrates cucumbers come up, 2 Sugar Baby miniature watermelons, and 1 Minnesota midget. Eventually, I really only want 2 Socrates and 1 each of these. This is the really super early experiment. So I'm not sure if the melons are going to work, but I know the Socrates does, but I don't actually have space for 3. Just about got space enough for 2 of them, because obviously they're going to be inside the whole time. So somebody's going to be getting a Socrates present in the near future. But I tell you what else has also come up very well are the aubergines. Here we have White Knight has done brilliantly. They come up really, really quickly. And Black Beauty. Nothing from the Listada in the back there, but that was the one that I only had the 1 seed left for, and to be fair, it was a little bit ropey, so I didn't have high hopes of that. Also nothing on the Viserba. Not a sausage. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Black Beauty and 5 White Knight. And I'm quite happy with that. Would have been nice to get a long skinny purple one, but it's one of those things that sometimes, like it happened last year, sometimes you'll be in the garden centre quite late in the season and they'll have like grafted ones. And there's a couple of places like last year and the year before actually, Dobby's Garden Centre was selling them for like 17 quid for a single aubergine or pepper plant. And like, no. However, that Adrian Hall's Gardening Club place in Staines, I found them there for £2.99. Absolute beautiful, beautiful plants. So I'm going to stick with what I've got. I might have another quick look through and see if I've got any fresher Viserba seed, because I think I might have used an older packet, because it's still not too late. You've still got, you know, up until March to be sowing them really. So I might have another go at those, but I'm going to hold out for the fact that it's possible that there will be a grafted edition later on. I've recently had a little bit of a move around in here. This half came up really quickly. I've got the lipstick peppers are looking fantastic. Nothing going on under here yet. So that's some of the other peppers that I put in, but they didn't have any heat up until I've just moved them around and got them on the heat mat at this side. So they've only been under there for like a day. So I'm not worried about them yet. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with that little setup. And the plants themselves are looking pretty chipper. So yeah, it's exciting. So this is vlog episode 199, which means that next week is going to be episode 200. And I am working on the history of plot 37 episode as we speak. I'm fully hoping that it's going to be coming out as episode 200. But there's so much stuff to go through. I've got so many photographs. And because it's photographs, not video footage, it's like the editing process is to make it interesting looking at photographs through in a video format. It's taking a little bit of time. So I'm hoping that that is going to be next week's video. If not, it will be 201. But at the moment, I'm saying it's next week's video, which in itself is a bit of a shocker. 200 Tuesdays, or Mondays if you're a Monday clubber, 200 uploads I haven't missed yet. I'll touch wood actually, I'm just jinxing myself there, but yes. Whew.
There's a little. Hi Sus, coming under. Hey beautiful girlie. Let's go.
Is there anything fluffier in all the world than that pussycat? I'm not sure. Good morning. Sorry, that was meant to be good morning. Oh, my chair's falling on me. What was I saying? Good morning. Look at this. Up here with no hat. The temperature change is incredible. It's like 13 degrees today. Hat. Yeah, so just come up here to pick a bit of chimney wrapper for lunch, which is incredibly exciting because it's the first picking. But my incredibly kind pot neighbour on my way up here has given me some Iranian cress seed. This is so good. I just have to walk down here with it in my hand, so this because I didn't have a pot. But anyway, we've got it. So I'm going to just hold on to this because I'm not going to sow it now because I'm in a bit of a rush. I'm just going to pick some lunch and keep this up here, and then we'll sow it next week. Exciting, exciting. Right, let's go and have a look at that chimney wrapper. Oh, it was actually Lily's dad who gave me the Iranian cress seed. Wasn't it, Lils? It was. It was your dad. Yeah. Right, let's have a look at this pure joy. Pure joy. Look at that. Look at those beautiful sprouts. Oh my God. I cannot tell you how much I'm looking forward to this. This one looks a bit manky, but that's because it got by a pigeon early on. I'm so excited. This is the Centaventina variety of chimney wrapper, which is the 120-day one. So generally the chimney wrappers, or like the basic ones, come numbered. So you've got like 40-day, 60-day, 90-day and 120-day. As far as I know, I mean, there's obviously ones in between, but it's kind of roughly how long they take to be ready. And the 120-day is kind of considered the prime chimney wrapper, and that's what we've got here. Should have had an awful lot more of it, but I'm very glad to have any at all. Look at the beauty. But yeah, beautiful. So the three, we've only got 4 plants where we should have had like a whole half bed. But, you know, something's better than nothing. But that's absolutely perfect. So got a couple of sprouts like that, but then the other plant, which is the one at the end, has the pigeons, because the netting came off that end, the pigeons had already taken out what is essentially like the primary spike like that. So it's producing all of the little, like the mini ones afterwards. So you get one major head, a bit like broccoli, you know, you get one major head and then you get all of these coming in succession afterwards. But yeah, very happy. Look at that. The Arctic bells, so close. Next week they'll be out. Hellebores looking outrageously beautiful. Hey girlies, are you outraged by their beauty? I am. It's incredible. This is the bed that I was talking about earlier that I'm going to extend. That whole section at the back there used to be the pathway into the chicken house. But the girlies don't have that entrance anymore, so I'm going to extend all these beautiful like hellebores and epimedium and bulbs right the way back to the fence there, so it's outside the shed. Mum's looking a bit suspicious. Oh wow, that was delicious. That was so good. I have actually cooked that properly on the channel before, but I can't remember what episode it is in, so I will find it and I'll tell you next week, because I have done like the proper recipe, but it is just garlic, chilli, olive oil and butter, you know, in a pan, and then you throw the pasta in and you throw the chimney wrapper in, and it is heaven. Heaven. Especially when the garlic and the chilli is also homegrown. Anyway, we're cracking on time-wise, chaps, so this is over and out for episode 199. Cheers. Cheers to my Monday Club, as always, the most incredible people who support this channel and keep it going, and have kept it going for 199 episodes, so whopping great cheers to them. And cheers to everybody else. I will see you for number 200. There's exciting things happening next week. It's not just doing a history of Plot 37, like all the different guises the allotment has been in and how long we've had it and all that kind of stuff. There is further excitement happening next week. But I'm going to keep that under wraps until it actually happens. Right, cheers chaps. See you next week. But I like to chit my potatoes.